Welcome back to my podcast, dear listeners. We're on episode 73. Last time I had told you about the long and tiring commute to Sophia College. Today I'll tell you about how I selected Sophia College for my grad program and other stuff about the interaction between Sophia and I. So let's begin. Sophia College is situated in the affluent part of town, surrounded by stores and shopping centers that I dared not enter for fear of not being able to afford anything there, but also because I looked like someone who did not belong there. Right next to the entrance of Sophia College was the famous Sterling Apartments building, where I think the late ghazal singer Jagjit Singh lived. In fact, the lane near Sophia College, that is named after his late son Vivek Singh, is right parallel to my college. I couldn't see any mess or slums or untidy street hawkers in this area. It looked like an upper class area. I was fascinated and intimidated at the same time. The day we were taking forms to colleges for my senior college transfer, we sent an acquaintance to St. Xavier's College with my application, and I went with mom to Sophia College. If we had done the reverse, I would have graduated from Xavier's College. Unbeknownst to me, Blossom had taken admission in Xavier's College. If we had been on speaking terms, we could have coordinated and the daily commute might have been more pleasant for both of us. Also, the mental and emotional support of having a friend who lived nearby and studied in the same course would have been great. As it turns out, Sophia and Xavier's are sister colleges. If I'd joined St. Xavier's College, I'd have gotten into the train at Vikhroli station at 7 am and made it to college before 8, so it wouldn't have been as difficult as the Sophia commute, especially if I got a fast local that made fewer stops. The college was a couple of minutes walking distance from the VT station or the Victoria Terminus station. Also, more important, if you were going all the way to VT, without a journey break, without having to switch trains, at some point you would find a seat before the midpoint of Dadar terminus when someone got down. And plus, I would have had Blossom for company all the way, all day. But that was not to be. As it turns out, Sophia College was an all girls school. I had never walked around in this part of town and was simultaneously fascinated and intimidated by all that I saw around. High-end stores like Benetton, Amarsons, Hira Panna. I had already earlier mentioned this episode where I was so taken by Amarsons and I insisted that I wanted to show it to mom, and I made her commute all the way to Amarsons, and then I excitedly was showing her around when that security guard started following us around in a very purposeful manner, making us feel very small and insulted, and as though we looked like, shoplifters, as though we would steal something, because we did not look like the typical crowd that shopped at Amarsons. So I remember that very humiliating experience when I was studying at Sophia, saw the beautiful stores and wanted to show my family what they looked like, and that didn't work well for us. That left a scar. When I walked into Sophia College, it was like walking into a grand palace, because it was indeed a palace earlier. Dazzled by the beauty of the building, I immediately decided to study there. I had never seen such a beautiful building other than the Gurdwaras, especially after being in the very tacky and shabby looking Ruya College. This felt like a fairy tale. Sophia and Xavier's were in many movies as it was a popular location for shooting movies. People would shoot like college scenes, school scenes, or even shoot like it was a rich person's house. So a lot of movies show Sophia College, different parts of the college. I felt more comfortable in my skin here. The crowd was more accepting. I immediately got a best friend there, Swati Banerjee. She was from Borivali. We hung out with two Rajasthani girls, Anisha and Kirti. Anisha and Kirti wore beautiful block print cotton outfits that sometimes had glass work on them or wooden beads or patchwork. I had not seen such clothes around my place. Looking at their outfits, I discovered what my style was. I loved ajrak, kalamkari, indigo block prints, tie and dye. Pochampalli, batik. I just love these Indian traditional tie and dyes, Indian traditional block prints. Just was in love with all of these things. But these things were never available where my parents took me for shopping. All the while that we shopped in those Ghatkopar Gully shops or in Gandhi Market at Dadar, I had never seen these kind of outfits. They were simply not available where we shopped as a family. Plus, this look was light years away from what my family approved of or from my family's style. Till date, my dad asks in confusion why I wear such dull colors that blend into each other. He just doesn't get this style. They like those Mughlai arty stuff, very detailed, drawn and painted stuff. That's their style. Once again, with Swati, I wondered why such a glamorous and beautiful girl was friends with me. I was meek and submissive, considering myself lesser than Swati. I distinctly noticed my confidence lower on days when I dressed in clothes that I didn't like or a hairstyle that I did not like. Like one day I had super oiled hair and I was wearing some outfit that really I didn't like much. And I saw Swati and I was like trying to hide, and then she spotted me and smiled and waved, and I was like, oh, okay. So that's how my look affected how I felt. So generally the crowd was a lot more friendly and accepting at Sophia. I found myself talking to at least 50 or 60 different girls a day. Not long conversations, but knowing their names and enough about them to have brief conversations. Whenever Swati and I walked down a hallway, Swati was always amazed and surprised by the number of girls that I greeted. She was like, you know everyone. Sophia College was popular with the conservative Muslim community because the girls could take off their hijabs and scarves once they entered the premises. One classmate, Farzana, seemed very comfortable with the idea of marrying her cousin. I remember being surprised with how matter of fact she was about it. It was something she had always known. While Farzana was plain and had bad posture and even a weird local accent and did not dress well, some other Muslim girls were extremely beautiful and looked almost like princesses to me. Sumbul was the first person I saw with colored eyeliner, and the blues and greens of the liner looked absolutely amazing on her. She later got married to someone in Pakistan. I'm not even sure she completed her graduation before getting married. Just like Farzana, she was very accepting and matter of fact about going away to a literal different country after getting married. Some of the most glamorous girls I saw were in Sophia College. There were a lot of NRI students and also some expats. One girl who made an impression on me with her looks and height and confidence was a girl called Anjali Pathania. She was tall and gorgeous and always looked like a model who had just walked out of a photo shoot or walked off a ramp. She had this long horse face, a very beautiful horse face. And when she grinned, it was with all her teeth bared, like she was showing the upper and lower teeth together at the same time. It suited her so well that for a while I tried to imitate it. Of course, I looked like an idiot doing it. Suddenly finding myself thrown into the midst of all these beautiful, glamorous girls, I desperately wanted to come across as one of them. The summer fashion trend at the time was Bermuda shorts, and they looked absolutely cute on all these girls. They wore the latest hair accessories, had trendy haircuts, and to me looked like they'd popped right out of a fashion magazine or from an Archie's comic book. I was overawed. I tried to imitate their lingo, but sometimes couldn't remember the right words. I saw a girl, Sheetal, who had an otherwise ordinary appearance, like her face would have been pretty ordinary, but she was so well put together with her trendy bob and her Bermuda shorts that I wanted to tell her her outfit looked great. Instead, I ended up telling her that her costume looked great. She looked mildly amused as she repeated, "Costume?" Listening to all the NRIs around me with their foreign sounding accents, I, for some reason, thought I needed to put on an accent too. While I was good with mimicry and imitation, I obviously did not know the nuances of different regional accents. So, like Mrs. Doubtfire, I faked an accent that was all over the place. I kept that up for a few days or a few weeks until one day our psychology teacher, Ms. Mendes, commented on fake accents, wondering why girls feel the need to do that. Mortified, I realized she was talking about me. I did not try that stunt again. Meanwhile, Swati, Kirti, Anisha, and I had a great time in each other's company. Whenever we found ourselves with an hour or two of free time between lectures, trust me, that happened quite a bit because of how the timetables were planned. We would excitedly go to the Mahalakshmi temples or to Haji Ali and hang out over there. We used to go and offer prayers at both the places. Once a fakir approached me with his peacock feathers and tapped them on my head. Apologetically, I told him I had no money. He said it was okay and he gave me some prasad, and I was very surprised and happy. When it came to money, my mom had loosened her purse strings a little and was not so stringent as before. Yet, I still feel the pang of not being able to assert myself on that front. When college had just started, the senior girls were promoting their various clubs to us and urged us to join their clubs. Of course, we had to pay for these. I joined a few different sports clubs because I was very enthusiastic about sports like throwball and hockey. When I realized that we didn't have enough members to form a team because enough girls didn't sign up, I asked the head sports girl for a refund on these particular club payments. She said I should wait just in case more people enrolled later. I reluctantly agreed, though I just wanted my money back. It was about 12 or 15 rupees or 20 rupees per club, so it mattered a lot to me. I went a second time after a few days, feeling very inhibited and kind of scared because I was troubling her again. She managed to convince me yet again to not take my money back, and that was the end of it for me. I didn't have the courage to approach her again, even though I desperately wanted my money back. I just did not know how to assert myself or stand up for myself beyond what I had already done. Like that itself had taken a lot of guts for me to do. This inability to stand up for myself later also prevented me from standing up for my children when they were bullied by other kids or adults. Meanwhile, at Sophia, a club that did take off was the swimming club. I'll tell you more about it and other aspects of Sophia in the next episode. Till then, stay healthy, stay happy, and I'll see you next time.